Virtual reality. There are three important things when it comes to making a good VR game: the interactability, the gunplay, and the immersion factor. You could say the story is important too, but that's, I think, just a side thing. Those three things are the main things to make the player interested in the game. It is fascinating that we got so used to having a full physics body in VR, because in the past all we had were floaty hands that just passed through objects and almost non-interactable environments. But as the years went on, we got Boneworks, and that changed that fully interactable environments are actually possible and that they are really fun to mess around in. And then we got Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx showed to all of us that VR physics can be improved upon more. But the problem with Half-Life Alyx is that you don't have a virtual body, but you just have floating hands. Let's talk about how you can interact with objects. The earliest of games were very primitive when it came to holding objects. They had no hand poses, so it would look like they were just flying on the top of your hand. Then other games used hand poses. That means that every object had a predetermined position where your hand would hold it. So in most cases it would look just horrible because it would look like the object just snaps onto your hand. But then Half-Life Alyx came along and it improved vastly on hand interactions with objects. And then we got multiple hand poses. I'm not saying that Half-Life Alyx did it first, but it showed that it is the way to go. I will be talking about these topics on a surface level, so I will not go in depth. This is why I love Valve games. They make their weapons sound and feel powerful. And a lot of VR games actually execute that perfectly, like Black Trail, Hard Bullet, and Half-Life 2 VR. Unlike the other weapons, Half-Life Alyx's pistol sounds weak and seems weak, but that might be because the enemies feel spongy. Okay, now we talked about the shooting, let's move over to reloading. Half-Life Alyx does reloading exceptionally well. Whenever you reload, your hand does a little animation, but you don't notice it because you go along with the animation, so it just feels natural. You can rack the gun from the back and from the front, but what game gets it wrong is The Walking Dead Onslaught, because when you reload, when you want to eject the magazine, your hand does a little flick, and when you want to bring the mag into the gun, your hand does it without you knowing. But I've said Half-Life Alyx uses an animation for reloading as well, but what I haven't mentioned is that the range for reloading animation to happen, the range is so low that it's unnoticeable. But in Walking Dead Onslaught, the range is pretty high, so it's really noticeable and it just feels janky. When it comes to gun handling, you want to have the freedom to touch it wherever you want to. So Boneworks, in my opinion, and Bonelab takes the cake. So every game should probably have same gun handling as Boneworks, because Boneworks gives you the most amount of freedom. And let's talk about the last thing, the immersion. The immersion basically consists of small things that make the game feel alive, like it's its own thing, like it actually exists, like it feels real. It could be realistic inventory management, like in Saints and Sinners, or healing, like in Saints and Sinners, or Green Hell VR. Because eating something feels lazy in my opinion, like in Vertigo 2. No shaming, but yeah, it has to feel real. So those are the small things. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and have a blessed day everybody, and bye bye.